Service Commission regulations, and sometimes regulations that are made in the agencies of government that don't necessarily use the public service standing orders, have to be used to see whether a person can be removed from office in the public interest, so that they can be investigated, and after they've been investigated, usually it's to prevent them from frustrating or interfering with the investigation. But also there's something about how a person looks like when they are being suspected. Do they still meet the standard that is required in our public service? Do people want to see a person who is being investigated for fraud and embezzlement stay in the office where he is alleged to have committed the fraud or embezzlement? It does not augur well for an investigation to continue in those circumstances. That's why the law provides for interdiction or suspension.
But as a judge, would you be able to?
I am sorry.
As a judge, would you be able to express frustrations like that? Like the keynote speaker and other speakers as well talked about the political interference. Would you, in your position now, your IGG, would you have an avenue where saying, this is frustrating me, I would like to do this? Because it seems that, as you said already, the time period is difficult. Are you able, we can keep it quiet here if you recruit us into what's frustrating you.
Now, as Inspector General of Government, there are instances where when you feel you are frustrated during an investigation, and at the times when we have been most frustrated, we have shared with the public, and they have watched us express this frustration and also watched us take out the tools that the law gives us to deal with this frustration. I recall when we were investigating, I will refer to a particular case because now it is concluded and the person has been convicted and there's a judgment and it can be read and everybody can understand. There's even proceedings of what happened when we were being frustrated in that particular case. We investigated the Director of Budget in the Parliament of Uganda. I believe many people who were following that investigation, because in our view this was one of the big fish that we had caught. He had the falsified documents in accounting for monies that had been spent by him and other people, alleging the money was spent. Now, we thought that he actually threatened us as an institution. He said, you are investigating me, but I am already aware. I am aware that there is this complaint against me with the Inspectorate of Government. So he approached someone at the Inspectorate and said, you better help me so that I'm not investigated. So this person said, but I can't help you. He said, okay, if you can't help me in your capacity as an important person in that office, then I will bring my influence to bear down on your investigators. I will frustrate them so that you cannot investigate me, so that you return this complaint to my employers, which is the Parliamentary Commission, so that an internal investigation is done by the Parliamentary Commission. I said, no, but the Parliamentary Commission has its powers. I also have mine. I have investigated you, and we have a complaint against you, and we are going to investigate you. So the investigation went on, and ultimately we found evidence against him while he was out of office, because he was eventually removed. He was prosecuted and convicted. He has never applied for bail, though he said he was going to appeal. So now he's still in Luzira serving his sentence. But that shows you that you can be very frustrated and you can give up. As Inspectorate of Government or anti-corruption actors, it is important to show the general public that there are people who are not corrupt in public offices. Because there's a belief out there that if you occupy a position of influence, especially in the public sector, then you are likely to be a corrupt person. And there are all these things that go around people in public offices, accusing them. People tell stories about you, and they actually try to make you look bad for the good that you are doing. I want the general public to understand that even in the public service, there are people who are not corrupt, there are people who will not take bribes. That has got to be understood by members of the public, the citizenry in Uganda. They also have got those that are in the public service that are not corrupt are our role models. They are our role models, and we want for people out there to know them, especially the young people, examples being shown of our role models. Those that get to know about schemes of corruption, we encourage them to report. First of all, to reject, to shun, and report corruption.
Thank you very much, IGG. And maybe I should be the first one to ask, because there was a question on Twitter. Someone, ladies and gentlemen, our hashtag today is Anti-Corruption Day UG, and hashtag Anti-Corruption Day UG, and there's a lot of participation there. And this one person sent a message saying, well, Oscar, where do I report corruption? And he mentioned that at the time when the keynote speaker was saying, do you go to the police? Do you go to the courts? Especially if you're reading IGG reports. So we're going to pass microphones round. If you have a comment to make, a question, best thing to do is keep it short. But the theme is, what can we do to stop corruption?
There is an issue about some of the public officers. How do they get into some offices? For example, a case in point is the EC secretary. The lawyers have raised issues that this person is not, according to the law, he's not supposed to be there. So how can the Office of IGG work hand in hand to make sure that each one who goes to a public office really deserves to be there? Thank you.
What do you mean by EC?
The Electoral Commission Secretary.
Okay. Thank you. There's a gentleman over there.
Point number one is we want to strengthen the capability to detect, to investigate, to prosecute, and to recover money. That is our number one point. And it covers some of the anxiety that the public has. Point number two, we would like to leverage on the ombudsman function, so that little frustrations of citizens not being served are actually covered under point number two. Because you had IGG mention that we are burdened by inefficiencies in the system, people not doing what they are supposed to do, citizens expressing frustration. And we are saying the ombudsman function, if it's leveraged and if we introduce a complaint handling mechanism in every ministry, department, and agency, we will be able to take care of the petty, small frustrations of citizens. Number three, we have leveraging automation. We've automated already on the declarations for the leadership code, declaration of assets and wealth. Number four is the syndicating that we are doing, like we are doing today, partnering among the major players in the anti-corruption world, which we are doing again. And finally, the public awareness, which our friend here raised. We all recognize the need for public awareness.
Let us follow the Tanzanian way. We put a seal that if you are going for this office, beyond 50 million, you are out. So I think that one will help us.
There should be affirmative action in terms of government policy if we need to stamp out corruption, especially in police. Because this is a group who are not well facilitated. we had a boardroom session in Buvuma Island on Wednesday. But you find that a police is in the island, and there are maybe 32 islands. When a crime is committed in one island, he's not able to go there. He's forced to ask for fuel from the cow, and that fuel may be belonging to roadworks. When you go to find out whether the road is done, it's not done. Why? Because the fuel is given to who? To the police. So I think let government get affirmative action for some of these departments that are prone to corruption because of lack of facilitation. Thank you.
One is that we can eliminate corruption by eliminating corrupt officials. I know it is not simple, but it can be done. Secondly, sensitizing people on the issues of corruption from the grassroots, the CBOs, the NGOs, and everywhere. Because you find that sometimes these NGOs are given money to implement some activities, but they end up taking the money into their pockets, and there is no monitoring and there is no accountability. Let corruption be part of the curriculum in primary schools and secondary schools, so that those people can go up in other levels knowing that corruption is bad so that they cannot get into corruption. Another point is that let us establish anti-corruption policies so that they can lead these small organizations and CBOs on the grassroots level.
We are all advising the IGG and the officers concerned, but I wish we could take it upon ourselves and do what she called, not everyone who is in the government office is actually corrupt. That means that we should stop the mentality of, for everything I do, I get a return. I was shocked when I went for the program at the Attorney General's office, which was on the People's Parliament, and someone asked me, are they paying you people money? Are they paying the integrity ambassadors? I'm like, no, they're not paying us. We came at will. And the next question was, even members of parliament, when you invite them to attend programs like this, they expect what they call facilitation. We pay taxes. They pay them more than the teachers who teach them. They pay them more than the doctors who treat them when they're sick. But when they come for programs like this for 1 hour or 3 hours, they want facilitation. You're going to feed them. And I don't know whether you're going to put for them fuel in the car that the government also gives them money for fuel. So that means that we have to change our mentality. Let's stop this mentality of, for everything I do, I get a return for it.
I think what we need to do is to think about putting very strong laws in place, especially about campaign financing, which is becoming a root cause of, election bribery, and then when they go to those offices, they want to get that money they spent. I think we need to advocate for such laws, but also to integrate anti-corruption interventions in our usual work that we do at our different capacities by decentralizing them, localizing them, and putting social platforms in place, like the way one put it, having a WhatsApp and what, and these community people, even a message, it will come somewhere and say, Kakuru has done this, or this is happening in village A and B.
I've been connected now like to IGG as the president of Integrity Ambassadors Club. It is my role as a president to try and educate my fellow students at the university to really see the usefulness of fighting corruption at a youth level.
Thank you very much.
Yes, Madam IGG, office yo ebadde nafunye okuhandlinga ensonga zino. Kyendowooza nti mu nkola eno singa wabaddewo enkola ennungamu, wandibadde osobola okubanga otwala obudde obumala okubanga ofunyeyo ku tiimu esobola okunoonyerezaako, esobola okuyambako okunoonyereza ku ground okusinga abootula nabo mu ofiisi. Issue ey'okubiri, ensonga nnyingi nnyo zijja mu ofiisi yo ow'ekitiibwa Madamu IGG, lwaki nkwesibako nnyo, naye ne zitwala obudde nga tezisobola kubanga ziddibwamu. Ndina complaints eziwera ddala 150 ezajja mu ofiisi yo kuviira ddala mu 2009 tezirina ansa. Ensonga endala ngenza ku kooti. Tulina obuzibu olunaku olwaleero nti enguzi eri mu kooti ne bannayuganda bagikaaba. Olwaleero musoma empapula z'amawulire naye kikwewuunyisa nti you pick just some interests in some newspapers. Olwaleero Madamu IGG nina empapula ze nali nkuwandikidde mu ofiisi ye ziwera ddala 12 complaints bannayuganda abawansinga babonaabona, no reaction. Olinze eki olwaleero ndinawo olupapula ekintu ekisembayo wano mu kooti, mukulu chief justice Bart Katuleebo ow'ekitiibwa ne bw'omuwandiikira bwino wuuno okugendayo okumulaba obulabi obanga agenzebwa Katonda, tukole tutya? Inspector of courts, please, inspector of courts, tusaba mwenna abali wano enguze efunnamya olwaleero luno omulamuzi bwaze omusango wano Jinja bamukyusa ne bamutwansfa ne bamutwala Kabaale, bwaze Kabaale bamutwala Lira, the same to state attorneys. Njagala nkuwa omulimu ogusembayo state attorney weka muli Martin Dungu musajja muli wanguzi gendayo ekyo kimu.
Thank you very much.
Misosika kintu nzikiriza njogera ekiri ku ntobo y'omutima gwange kyonsalako olw'obudde tuze kunaabako misosika kintu mbadde nsaba onzikirize mbadde nsaba owekitiibwa IGG ove wano genda mu kooti y'embalala ensonga y'enguzi efundamyeyo olinze eki ofiisi zo z'embala tuziwa reports tewaliwo kivaayo n'ekimu.
There are very many local people down there who are suffering in the hands of corrupt officers, police officers, as it has been mentioned before, and judicial officers. Where can these people seek remedy? Because some of these people don't know English. After selling their cows and goats, taking the bribes to police or courts of law, and they cannot access the office of the IGG because they are scared of coming to the center, city center. So is there any way that the IGG can maybe partner with these local NGOs to make sure that these people also, their voices are reached, they receive their voices? And looking at the whole scenario, all the stories that are being, talked about grand corruption. Now, I think the issue of corruption is a collective voice whereby even all these local people must be involved. So my point is...
Let me interrupt you and ask you a question before you make that point.
Yes, sir.
In last year's report, the IGG report said the police is perceived as being very corrupt. Then the IGG report said the local district administration perceived to be #1 corruption. That is already documented by IGG. And then just before she came off, I put to her what she's usually challenged about, that why are you going for small fish and leaving big fish? Now, so yours is a turnaround. She's now going for big fish and leaving small fish.
No, what I want is, I want to see also these small, I would not call them small fish, but I want to see these lower people being helped because they are losing a lot into the hands of these corrupt officers. And as I summarize my issue is that I think because the issue was what can we do to stop corruption, I think it should be an inclusive engagement, including the local people, like a certain gentleman speak before we went for a break, that these things should be taken down to the ground. We sensitize those people and really show them the dangers of corruption, and so that we can hold it together. I thank you very much.
Thank you. There's a gentleman there.
Thank you so much, Oscar. I'm called Bruno Mwebaze. I'm a graduate from Makerere University Business School. Also from a new young organization called Corruption Free Generation Uganda. If today was a graduation, I would have, and I'm the Chancellor, I would have declared Honorable Justice Kidudu the best student for the International Corruption Day 2016. Thank you so much. You have tackled it all. Back to the theme. From the theme, reject and report corruption, I just extract two keywords, reject and report. Those two words, they heavily rely on three key factors. One, the person to report. Does the person has the will? Is he having the will to report? The issue, the reality is that most people in our society today, they have lost hope. The society carries so many I don't care attitude people. They see things happen, but they don't even bother to go and report. Why should they? That is number one. Two, information, knowledge, or the facts. What we report, they are facts. Do we have enough awareness such that people critically identify, they have the knowledge to identify the information and facts such that they can report? Are they in place? That is a question, IGG, I want you also to think about. Thirdly, the methodology, the strategy to report. That's why, because people have lost hope, the strategies, maybe they are fake. Yeah, they exist, but they don't trust them. You have seen most of them, even they have decided now to report by an addressing, meaning they are trying to come up with their own ways to be helped. What should be done? One, let us involve the youth. How will you win the battle, this battle, without the largest group of our population? It's very true, youth have been left out.
How? Say how.
How, let us, what people see now is grand corruption at the top. But I want to say it has become grand because all these civil society organizations and other agencies in this fight, they have become silent on the petty corruption. I have seen so many people in associations, small associations, in institutions, guild presidents embezzling these funds.
But I'm
10
still
million.
asking, how can they use you if I personalize it? Because you said use the youth.
Well,
how can the IGG use you?
Before I began, I said I'm from Corruption Free Generation Uganda. It's a new youth organization. I and my members, we have managed to organize the so-called Integrity Week, which fell under the pre-activities for this week. But we tried even to invite the concerned parties, but did they turn up? So we have the will, but it needs ignition. It needs ignition. Two, let us embark on awareness. Let me ask a simple question here. How many of you have come across any billboard along the city communicating to the public message concerning corruption? But wherever you go, you'll find JESA, Coca-Cola Taste the Feeling. So is JESA bigger than IG office? How hard is that? How hard is it? Ladies and gentlemen, people with intentions make promises.
Okay.
But people with good character keep them.
Thank you.
Thank you.
There was a hand.
I am Isaac from the Ugandan Democrats. Before we speak about stopping corruption, what is corruption and how did it come into its existence? You see, it's like wanting to dry a tree, like someone has put it there, and you dry all the leaves. Yet, as it was there, this tree has the roots. So, ladies and gentlemen, let us focus at the roots of this tree. But what are the roots? What you are calling corruption in Uganda right now is just a loot. People went somewhere, spent years there, they came back here, they have all the positions, and now they are looting. That is the gist of the matter. So, how do we reach to the solution? It should be each and everyone's endeavor here to see that the looters are put aside and we get the rightful person.
Yes. Honorable Gidudu, I'm asking you, have you ever visited Luzira prison and you see how some are convicted when they don't have a case, especially this